So let's get into it. Why are we here today? So as you heard, my name is Ryan. I've been with LinkedIn now for about 8.5 years. My role at LinkedIn is more of a sales role. I work with all of the UCs, CSU System, USC and Stanford, and I sell a couple of products to your campuses, and you all happen to be one of my partners. So I'm super excited about talking to you all today about 5 different things. So what we're going to cover is we're going to cover one, why you should be on LinkedIn. I think it's important to start there because I'm biased. I work for LinkedIn. So of course I'm going to tell you to be on LinkedIn, right? So what I want to do is I want to give you data to help you make the best decision for yourself. The second thing we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about your profile. Most of you are probably approaching your profile in a way that is not as it's not as conducive to your success. And so what I've seen over the last 8 years of working at LinkedIn is that if you approach your profile differently, you're going to have a lot more success and it's going to be a lot more fun. So we'll talk about that. The third thing we're going to talk about is growing your network. You all have heard that saying, it's not just what you know, it's who you know, or your network is your net worth. That's never been more true than it is today. And so we'll talk about that. The fourth thing we'll talk about is we're going to be talking about posting content on LinkedIn. It is very important. It is a social media platform after all. So the more content you post, the more likely you're going to be seen by recruiters. And then finally, because you all have access to LinkedIn Learning as students at UC Riverside, we'll talk a little bit about LinkedIn Learning because it is important and it will help you get where you want to go in your career. So with that, I have a couple of questions that I want to ask everybody, just simple questions to try to get you all engaged here. So the first question I have for you is, how do you think LinkedIn makes the most revenue? Like, what do you think our biggest business line is? Does anybody know where we make most of our money? I want to guess. You can drop it in the chat, by the way, if you all don't want to shout it out. I need to have Jeopardy music in the background here. Is what I need to have. Ads, very good, very good. So Patricia, you said paid membership, that's premium. Ads, those are our most common answers. Now, we do make a lot of revenue on ads, but it's not our biggest revenue source. And our premium is one of our smaller business lines. Only 3% of our 1 billion members pay for premium. Isabella, you mentioned amount of users. Not really. We don't really monetize our user base, although what you answered is true, because without the number of users, we wouldn't be able to sell the other products. So you kind of are right there. Rachel, you mentioned jobs. So yes, indirectly. So our jobs and our recruiters. So we sell a product, and one of the products I sell is to institutions. So we sell to all kinds of businesses, whether they're small to huge businesses. We sell access to you. In order for them to use LinkedIn to find you, in order for a recruiter to find you, they have to pay us. That's our biggest business line. It's bigger than our advertising revenue. It's bigger than premium, way bigger than premium. So our biggest business line is not advertising. It's recruiters helping you get a job. So the second question I have for you is, what do you think our market share is of Fortune 500 companies? Meaning, I'll rephrase that, what percentage of Fortune 500 companies are paying us to find you? Anybody want to guess? What percentage of Fortune 500 companies pay us to find you? Anybody? Patricia, 90%. That's a really, really good guess. Rachel, another good guess, but it's higher than 90%. It is actually, Luca, closer to 100. Ethan, you hit it on the nose. 97%. 97%. Our market share is 97% of Fortune 500 companies. We have over 90% of corporate recruiters that are using LinkedIn today. In the state of California, we've got over 92% of working age Californians with a LinkedIn profile. A couple of things I want to point out when we talk about these sort of statistics. We are different than most other social media platforms. In fact, I don't know any other social media platform that does what we do. We eliminate 99% of fake profiles. That's even before they get published. But once they get published, we do our best to get rid of fake profiles and duplicate profiles. Trust me, it happens all the time. We get rid of them. The other thing that we do that's different than any other social media platform is we only allow you 3 DMs per month, period. So what does that do? Well, first of all, hopefully it reduces the amount of harassment and bullying that you'll see on the platform. You're not going to have people that can just bug you all the time because they can't DM you and they can't just create fake profiles. So that's important. But the other thing that's important is when I tell you that we have like 92% of working age Californians, that's not a made up number. That's like, this is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is how many 18 or 18 to and above we've got. And this is how many profiles we have in California. So it's really important to know that that's a pretty solid statistic. The other solid statistics is we have 97% market share of Fortune 500 companies and 90% of corporate recruiters. So when I'm telling you that it's really important for you to be on LinkedIn, this is not just my opinion, right? Like this is a fact. Today, 2024 and beyond, if you are going to apply for a job, especially a job in an office, if you're going to be applying for a job in an office or remote work, what do you think the probability is that they're going to look at your LinkedIn profile? It's pretty much so 100%. Like it's 100%. What is the most common first interview question? Do y'all know? Anybody know what the most common first interview question is? Anybody want to guess? Tell me about yourself. Yes, Elizabeth, you cheat because you're in the biz. But thank you for putting that out there. The most common first interview question is tell me about yourself. And the question I have for you, it's a rhetorical question, but does a resume tell anyone about you? No, it doesn't. A resume is designed to do one thing. It's designed to basically put you in a rectangle, right? What school did you go to? What skills do you have? What jobs do you have? It is literally designed to quantify who you are as an individual. Resumes are looked at for like 3 to 10 seconds. All they're doing is thinking, does Gabby have the right minimum qualifications? Yes, she goes in this pile. Does Ryan have the right minimum qualifications? No, he goes in this pile. That's it. So what's going to get you interviewed? The interviewed is going to be the intangibles. That's why it's so important to really, we're going to go to the next topic, to craft your LinkedIn profile differently. If you are putting your LinkedIn profile and you upload your resume and you're calling it a day, you're doing yourself a disservice because your resume doesn't tell anybody anything about you. It doesn't tell them the intangibles about you. And that's what you want to do. That's what you want to put out there so that you can differentiate yourself in the marketplace. So let's talk a little bit about differentiating yourself, and let's talk about LinkedIn profiles now. So what I'm going to do is going to share my screen now, and I'm going to start showing you LinkedIn profiles so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about, and so it can get your mind thinking about how you can best utilize LinkedIn and how you can tell your story. So if there's one thing I want you to take from today's session, it's authenticity and storytelling. Like those are the most important things that you can do with your profile. Authenticity and storytelling. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into my profile over here. By the way, you're more than welcome to ask questions along the way, or you can just drop them in the chat. I'm happy to either respond to Q&A or respond to the chat. You all just let me know, okay? Let me go ahead and minimize these things so that I have more room on my screen. I'm on one screen, so it's a little bit different. Bear with me. Okay, so now let's take a look at some profiles. This is Tammy. All right, so I met Tammy when she was in school, and her goal was to be a digital marketer for a Hollywood studio. So a couple of things you'll notice here. Her background photo is beautiful. You need to think about how you can be really creative on your profile, right? Your first impression is really important. And so the more information you put on your profile that's going to start showcasing your personality, the better. This is kind of going completely opposite of what you think of when you're thinking of a resume. Resume is no personality. LinkedIn is all personality. It's as much personality as you can show. I mean, at the end of the day, people want to work with people that they like. That's what you want. You want to work with people that you vibe with. You want to work with people that are hard workers, are learners, are resilient, all of these things that are not on your LinkedIn, not on your resume. Your profile picture. Super important. It just needs to be a headshot. Just a headshot. You don't need a professional headshot. You can use your camera. They have really nice cameras nowadays. It's all good. The about section is probably the most important. Also your headline. We'll go into headlines here in a second with some others, but I want to show you Tammy's. Here she says, Harry Potter taught me English when I first immigrated to the Bay Area. She talks about being a passionate learner and jumping straight into teaching herself English and becoming obsessed with the way stories are told and how they connect people from all backgrounds. She goes on to say that she wants to connect individuals to something bigger than themselves. The way Harry Potter colored my world with magic and taught me the basis I need to achieve the American dream. Now, I want you all to know that when she originally came to me, her profile was like most, which is, the students would say, I'm passionate, or everybody says, I'm passionate about marketing, or I'm passionate about sales. Anybody can say that. What I want you to think about is like, what is your why? What separates you from the next person? What are your intangibles? And what is your story? All of those are way, way, way more compelling than I'm passionate about X, Y, or Z. I want you to understand that you can be compelling and your story is compelling. And that's what you can tell on LinkedIn. And it's important. I want you to know that she did get her dream job right out of school. She was able to get a job at Disney doing digital marketing for 2 years. She's now moved on to Google. And by the way, she's had the same profile for a while. So putting that she loves Harry Potter in her profile has not hurt her at all. It's only helped her. And I know this for a fact because I met with her again about a year ago. We had some lunch and she said that 2 people came up to her at Disney after she interviewed and mentioned how much they loved her profile. This is the power of LinkedIn. This is what taking that power back gives you. It gives you autonomy, it gives you agency, it gives you opportunity. The more that you're authentic, the better. That's just my opinion. And I don't have anecdotal evidence. Now I have quantifiable evidence. I've done tons of these. And these are just a few examples of students that have been able to get incredible jobs through LinkedIn because they are not just uploading their resume. And by the way, I hear from students all the time that say LinkedIn doesn't work for me. And the first thing I do when I look at their profile, when I look to see how they're working is I look at their profile. And every one of them has a really terrible profile or they've just uploaded their resume. This is essential for you to get the most out of LinkedIn is to tell your story. Let me show you some others just so you can see that you can talk about just about anything. Really, whatever you want to talk about that you think relates to your personality and what kind of person you're going to be on the job, you can talk about it. Here she says, around my neck on a thin red cord, a tiny jade lock and key was placed by my biological parents. In China, she talks about what the necklace symbolizes for her and what she wants to do for others. And then she says, my positive upbeat attitude derives from the gift I was given when I was adopted at the age of 2.5 years old. Again, Google hired her straight out of college and she's working for Microsoft. Now she's with another company. Here's Pauline. Let's look at Pauline. I love her background photo, great background photo, storyteller, lifelong learner. This is a great headline. This is a much, much better headline than some of the others. Again, your headline, you can change your profile as you go along. And a lot of students, once they graduate and they get this job, maybe they're a little bit less authentic, a little less vulnerable. That's fine. But I just want you to know if you don't have the job you want now and you're in school now, you need to, putting yourself out there is going to make a big difference. And being more authentic makes a big difference. Let's see what she says. She says, taking a non-traditional path has helped me differentiate myself from others and help others like me along the way. She talks about being an immigrant from the Philippines and what environment she grew up in and how that influenced her. She talks about her time in a community college, which I love. She's a transfer student, and that she is part of clubs that empower women, immigrants, and people of color. Again, I'm not going to go through every line of this, but what I want you to know is that these are very genuine, authentic profiles, and these have helped these students get really good jobs. This featured section, by the way, this is another section of the profile that goes underutilized. This is an area for you to be able to upload a video of yourself or upload your resume or post to content that you've posted on LinkedIn. Or if, let's say, you're a graphic designer or you're an artist or you're a marketing student, you can upload your projects. You can link to external projects. By the way, Tammy, when she was in school, had uploaded a lot of her marketing projects that she did in college right here into the featured section so that everybody at Disney could see her marketing projects. Think about that. That is powerful. You can't do that on a resume. So these are like three really good examples of LinkedIn profiles. This is the top portion. We'll go into a little bit more of the portion, but three really good examples of how you craft your story and your narrative that fits you. Does anybody have any questions about what we've covered so far? Any questions at all? Okay. Let me show you a couple of others. This is Bridget. And I met Bridget when she was going to Cal State Long Beach. Her background photo is awesome as well. I love this. It's a little bit more, it's got some character to it because she has this quote from Avatar: The Last Airbender in here. She's got a really cool headline, guiding individuals to the next step of their careers. Here's her about section. She starts with a saying from Jack Nicklaus about complacency, and then she goes into talking about how she's overcome complacency in her life, which I think is really authentic. I mean, it's really a true story, right? All of us have had our times when we've down on ourselves and been complacent. And so she talks about how she overcame that and talks about her accomplishments. Again, featured section. I want to scroll down here to the bottom because I want you to know that one of the reasons why LinkedIn Learning is so powerful or so important is that it does two things for you. It can do two things for you. Number one, it definitively will differentiate you in the marketplace. And what I mean by that is that it is incredibly competitive. It's an incredibly competitive marketplace right now, job marketplace. Trying to get a job is difficult. Okay. You're going to be competing with a ton of other people that have the same degree as you, maybe have gone to the same, university or another university as you. They've definitely gone to the same or another university as you, right? How do you differentiate from them? One way to do that is by going above and beyond. LinkedIn Learning, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, but LinkedIn Learning is a learning online video tutorial platform. That's all it is. They're online videos. We create all the videos. There are 20,000 of them, and they're designed to do one thing. They're designed to help you get a job. They're designed to help you get the skills you need to get the job you want, plain and simple. And I know this is going to come as a shock to everybody, but there's no way UC Riverside can give you every single skill you're going to need to get that job. That's not what colleges and universities are meant to do. LinkedIn Learning is not meant to replace universities. They do an incredible job at educating you all. What LinkedIn Learning is designed to do is help you get the job. And here's a perfect example of how it can do that. In this case, Bridget was studying healthcare administration at Cal State Long Beach and realized that she didn't want to be in healthcare administration. She wanted to be in human resources. More particularly, she wanted to work in tech, HR and tech. So she took our human resources foundations, recruiting foundations. She took all kinds of courses, marketing, digital transformation, HR and digital transformation courses while in school and posted them on her profile so it would help her get a job. And guess what? Look at the first company that hired her out of school, Google. And now she works for another tech company called Verkada. It is not a coincidence that she got that job. LinkedIn Learning helped her. So we'll go into more on LinkedIn Learning in a second. But again, this is another thing you can do with your profile. Any external certifications or certificates that you've done, you can post on your profile. So let's go into the actual profile. And I want to show you a couple of things. I don't know why Chelsea's picture is not showing up. But I also want to talk about the experience section because most people do the experience section wrong. This is where a lot of people are just going to upload their resume. You just upload your resume and you're good to go. Well, I don't think so because resumes suck. They're not really designed to tell a story. They're not really designed to, especially for young people. Most people that I meet have internships on their resume and they have maybe jobs that are a little bit more menial. Like you're not going to be an account exec or a salesperson, a sales director, business development when you're 18, 19, 20. You're probably going to be a server or a barista, which is okay. That's great. In fact, I think everybody should be a server one time or another in their life. That's just my opinion. But when I talk to students, they think, well, why would I put that on my resume or my LinkedIn profile? That's not what I want to do. That's not the point. The point is that all of your jobs have shaped you and molded you, and you've learned something from each of those jobs. There's been a reason for you to go at each one of those jobs. So you can articulate that on your LinkedIn profile. Here's a good example. So this is Chelsea, and this is her internship with NBCU. Now, I know for a fact that, and again, Chelsea is one of my mentees. I know that she did not have a lot of heavy lifting. Like most internships are not a heavy lift. You're just learning. So instead, she talks about why she wanted to work there. I interned there with hopes of gaining exposure into the entertainment industry. I wanted to work there because of its company culture, its focus on DE&I, its ERGs, commitment to social impact. She goes on to talk about falling in love with a fast-paced environment, talks about the culture, talks about some of the things that she did and other projects that she did and what she learned. And she also adds all the skills that she learned from that job. This is a fantastic example of how to tell your story throughout the LinkedIn profile. Now, there are a couple of reasons why this is hugely important. Number one, right? Number one, it's immediately going to give the reader a better first impression of you. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at your profile and notice that you just uploaded your resume. You can tell in a second. In a second, you can tell. You can also tell in a second that she did not just upload her resume. She spent a lot of time and effort to think about it. So what creates a better first impression? It's obvious. This creates a better first impression. This shows she's a hard worker. She doesn't just say I'm a hard worker. She shows it. Number two, the more information you have in LinkedIn, the more likely a recruiter is going to find you. We now have much more advanced tools in our recruiter tool. Again, this is the recruiter tool. This is what recruiters pay to find you. It searches every word of your profile. So when they're trying to look for talent that's resilient or gritty or has a certain skill or has a certain background, the more information you put in LinkedIn, the more likely you're going to be found. There's no downside to putting more information in your LinkedIn profile. None. Does anybody have any questions about what we covered so far? That's pretty much it on the profile. And then we're going to go to growing your network. Any questions at all? Let's see if I have a question here. Keywords. Yeah, I don't necessarily think you need keywords anymore, Ethan. You don't want a keyword dump. Basically, what you want to do is you want to just elaborate on as many skills that you have. And so you don't have to necessarily put skills as keywords. You can actually drop skills anywhere in the profile, but you can also weave that narrative into your profile. I think communication, but that's a skill. I think resiliency, which could be another skill, determination, grit, all these things. But I wouldn't worry about keywords, my friend. I would worry about making sure that any skill that you think you have is put on the profile. And then if you go into a job and the job requires that skill, you figure a way to add it to your profile. LinkedIn Learning is a great way to add it to your profile, by the way. Thanks for the question, man. Okay, now let's go to growing your network. We'll go over here to UC Riverside. So I want to show you here. This is a gold mine, all right? So this is free. Everything I'm showing you right now does not require premium. Everything I'm showing you does not require premium. This is your alumni tab, all right? So when you go here to the alumni tab, what we're going to do here is we're going to aggregate every single person on LinkedIn that says they've gone to your school. We've got about 129,000 people that have gone to your school. We tell you what they studied, what they do, where they live. So I want to do this on the fly. So drop in the chat. Somebody drop in the chat a company they would love to work for. And let's make it hard on me. Don't put a top company here because these are all big companies. We know people work there. I want a different company. So somebody drop in the chat or shout out a company you'd love to work for. And let's do this on the fly. Ooh, okay, Luca, you're putting a tough one on me there. I don't even know how to pronounce that. What is it? Sennheiser. Boom. All right. Let's see here. One. Okay. This is a good one because I'm going to show you how you can do more research on this, Luca, because one is not a ton. But we do have one person down here that actually works for that company. So you literally could click on their name, and then you're going to click on connect, and then you're going to click on add a note. And so here, Luca, what I would say is, I'm a current UC Riverside student. And then why are you reaching out? I've always wanted to work at Sennheiser. Do you have 5 minutes for an informational interview? I'd love to know what life is like at Sennheiser. Something like that. That's it. Like this is how you grow your network. I have a question for you all. What is the worst thing that can happen if you do a connection request? Drop it in the chat what you think is the worst thing that can happen if you do a connection request. Anybody? They don't respond. Exactly. I don't even think they say no. I think most people ghost. And if we're honest, all of us have ghosted somebody one time or another. We live in a digital society. We've all ghosted somebody, right? The worst thing, Isabella, you're right. They don't respond or they ignore. Patricia, you both said they don't respond. They ignore you. Now, I want you to know a couple of things about statistics. We have 1 billion people on the platform. We have, excuse me, I heard yesterday that we have about, and it's just kind of bananas, but we've got about 180 million people every week that are on the platform every single week. So it's a lot, but it's not 1 billion. We know that about 50% of members are either never on LinkedIn or on LinkedIn once a month. So what that means is when you send out a message, more than likely 50% of the time, nobody's going to see it. So remember that when you're doing connection requests, it's not you, it's them. It's a numbers game. So you gotta put it out there. The worst thing that can happen is they ghost you. The best thing is that they actually respond to you and give you a informational interview, and you get to find out what's going on with that company. Here, Pedro, we have 10 people that work at AEG, and you can come down here and see who they are and get to know them. Find out what they do, how they got their job, what's life like at AEG. They may hate it, they may love it, all kinds of opportunity. Acadia Pharmaceuticals, we'll check out that one. Because Ethan, we definitely know people are B of A. Like that's a huge one. Acadia Pharmaceuticals. Let's see how many. Nobody. Okay. So Isabella, and this is also good for you here, Luca. Let's see how we can use the network to find people there. So I'm going to go over here to Acadia Pharmaceuticals. And they have a company page here. Virtually every single company. Look, if you have a company of over 20 people, 50 people, and you work in an office, you have a LinkedIn page. This page is free. Now, here are a couple of pro tips. These are very important tips, if I do say so myself, okay? When you are going to the company page and you're doing research here, so Isabella, I'm talking to you on this, right? This life page is not free. This life page means Acadia Pharmaceuticals is paying us more money to have this life tab. So there are a couple of things. There are 3 important things you need to know about this life tab. Number 1, it's a 100% certainty that they are also using the recruiter to find talent. So this means that 100% this company is going to look at your LinkedIn profile before you ever get interviewed. Fact, okay? If they have this life tab, that means they are paying for recruiter. Number 2, this life tab is designed to let you see what life is like at this company. So you could do a little bit more research on the company. And number 3, and most importantly, if you scroll down under the life tab right here, there's this new feature. It says, I'm interested in working there. And Isabella, you can just click on that. And now anybody that has this recruiter module can go in and see that you are interested in working there. A recruiter's job is to try to find qualified candidates who want to work for the company. And this eliminates a huge step for them. Brand new feature, free. So every single company that has this life page out there, y'all, every single one of them has this I'm interested in working tab. Now, remember, we didn't have any alumni that are working there. So it's okay because every single company page has this people tab. And within this people tab, what this allows you to do is it allows you to see everybody that's working there. And you can see, okay, where they've studied. So a ton of people from UCSD. Surprises me, nobody from UC Riverside, but hey, it's there. So you could literally go, okay, you know what I want to do is I want to work in, I don't know what you want to do, but let's say you want to work in business development, right? So you can click on this business development icon here, and that's going to reduce the number of people down to only people that are in business development. And let's say you are, I don't know, Isabel, let's say you're from the San Diego area and you want to just see people that are in San Diego. So you can now refine this down and you've got 40 people that you can connect with. Boom, boom, boom. Head of global learning and talent. I love that. And you can just connect with them. You can even, if you're in town, you can say, hey, I'd love to catch up. You know, do you want to have grab a cup of coffee? Let me buy you a cup of coffee. Pro tip, that's an awesome idea. And 95% of the time, I guarantee you, somebody that's working will not allow a student to pay for a cup of coffee. They'll buy you a cup of coffee and they'll talk to you. One of the reasons that I'm passionate about this company and working for this company is because, and I wish we were perfect. We're not perfect, but we do our best to try to create economic opportunity for everybody. Like back in the day when I was younger, when I was your age, which makes me feel old saying that, but when I was your age, the way we looked for a job is we'd go into this old-fashioned thing called a newspaper. You'd open up this newspaper and look through the want ads, and you'd circle a want ad, and then you'd type up a resume and you'd send it out. That was a very difficult way of finding a job. But it also meant that I didn't have a ton of competition, right? Like the only people applying for that job were the people that were looking in the newspaper. It's not that way anymore. I'm sure Acadia Pharmaceuticals is a great company, which means that when they post a job, they're going to have hundreds, if not thousands of people applying. So how do you take control of your own destiny? You do this outreach. You network, you grow your network. We also have quantifiable data that says when you grow your network, it makes a difference. So when you have a first degree connection at the job at which you apply, and let me explain first degree connections. So let's say that Patricia reached out to me on LinkedIn because she wants to work at LinkedIn. And she's like, hey, can we connect? I connect with her. Patricia and I have first degree connections, right? Let's say Patricia's connected to Juan. Well, Patricia and Juan are first degree connection. Me and Juan are second degree connection. And then if Juan is connected to Isabella, they're first degree, but me and Isabella were third degree. All right. We did research and we pulled 13 million profiles of people who graduated in the last 5 years from college. Now, remember, we know this information because you tell us. You tell us what school you go to. You tell us what job you have. You tell us when you graduated from school. Most people tell us when they graduated from school. All right. So we took all these people that tell us when they graduated from school and then when they got their new job. And we looked at this data. And obviously, when you give us this information, we also know who is in your network. And we realized after looking through 13 million profiles that people who have students who have a first degree connection at the job at which they apply are over 3 times more likely to get that job. Over 3 times more likely to get a job if you have a first degree connection. So if I'm in your position, all of you that dropped names of companies, Luca, Sennheiser, you got to connect with people there, man. You got to connect with people. There is no downside to connecting, only upside. So what LinkedIn allows you to do is it allows you to take control of your destiny by using this phone. Everything I'm showing you is on your mobile device. Everything I've shown you is on your mobile device. Everything I've shown you is free. This is what it's about. Growing your network is super important. Anybody have any questions about that? Anybody have any questions about what we covered so far with growing your network? No questions at all? All right, let's keep moving on. The other thing I want to talk about, and so we'll go over here when we're talking about growing your network and talking about these things. Let's go over here to let's take a look. Well, we can look here. So this is another good thing is like to follow their posts. So when we think about posting content on LinkedIn, is going to give you a huge leg up on the competition. It's a way for you to again showcase your basically differentiate yourself in the marketplace. And when I say differentiate yourself, I mean that if you're getting compared to other students, what can you do differently that makes you stand out? And so one of the things you can do differently is you can post on LinkedIn, because very few people do, but even fewer students post on LinkedIn. So if you post content on LinkedIn, it's huge. So what kind of content can you post? In this case, you can start following. You can literally follow this company, which is what I would do if I wanted to work there. You can click on this icon, and then it can tell you every single time they post content. And so you can come over here and you can just start mentioning stuff. You can like it, and then you can comment. Look, this one only has 7 comments. I guarantee you there are no students that are commenting on this. And so this would empower you, give you more information about what the company is doing, where they're going, what their vibe is. Does it align with what you want to do? And so when you do get that interview and you sit down for that interview, think about how cool this would be if you start, asking them questions about content they posted on LinkedIn. How many people do you think do that? Basically none. It's all free. So any company can do that. We'll go over here to Sennheiser. Oops. Boom. Live tab. Ooh, those headphones look nice. Live tab, right? Recruiter, live tab, jobs, people, right? All of this all this stuff. It's all here. All the posts that they've done. See what they posted, right? 44 minutes ago, they posted about this. And so, Luca, if you're really into audio, really into this sort of thing, this would be cool. Look, they don't have anybody, no comments. Of course, it's only been posted 44 minutes ago. Super easy to do. Somebody tell me a line of work that they'd like to be in, like graphic design or sales or something like that. So somebody tell me a line of work that they'd like to do. Anybody want to volunteer? Anybody? Translation. Ooh, Ingrid. That's a good one. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. Translation. Translator. Let's do that. But let's not, oh, I didn't mean to look for it in jobs. Let's do translator, but not in jobs. What I want to do is I want to look for translator in groups. I want to see if we have any translation groups in here. So we've got a certified translation professionals group. There are 52,000 members. English Spanish translator.org. So I don't know if you are, Ingrid, wanting to do English or Spanish, but my point is this: you can join these groups. Joining these groups is free. We do not allow groups to charge. It's free. So when you join this group, there are a couple of cool things about this. One is you're going to start getting a lot of content from this translation group, which is cool. You can kind of see what's going on in an area that you're interested in. But here's the most important thing. I'll show you. I'm part of this group in LinkedIn. It's Hispanics of LinkedIn Alliance. And I get to see content that's posted, all that other good stuff. But here's the best part. When you go to the members, it says show all. Notice that I can now message all of these people that are not my first degree connection. When you have a first degree connection, you can message people as much as you want. But when you're young and you don't have a large network, it's hard to message a lot of people, because remember what I said, you only get 3 DMs per month. But if you are part of a group, you get to message that group, whether they're first, second, or third degree connections. Huge. Sunny, industrial engineering. We have a ton, I'm sure. Industrial engineering. Oops, it's searching for it in that group. Duh. Industrial engineer. Let's do this. I don't want to do it in jobs. We'll do engineer in groups. Boom. Look at all these groups. Tons of groups. Tons of groups. Right? We can also do this. Okay. Super easy. So another way to grow your network and post content. So let's go to posting content real quickly, right? That's really cute. That's all, folks. Really great. When you want to start a post, all you have to do is click on this icon. You can click on start a post. You can write about whatever you feel is important to you and important to your network. I would think about things that are going to be career related, or things that you're doing that are going to showcase your personality and how you are going to be when you get hired, things like that. You can also go over here. When you click that plus, you can actually click on find an expert. and you can hit a drop-down menu and you can get coaching and mentoring on LinkedIn. So let's say you want to know about resume writing or interview preparation. You can put that out there. You can read an interesting article. Here's a very easy way to start posting content. So let's say you read an interesting article. You just grab the URL and then you post it here on LinkedIn. And then it's going to bring in that thumbnail image. And then you all have social media. You've grown up with social media. You know how to do this. You can write whatever you want to write and you can tag whoever you want to tag. I'm going to just tag Evelyn here because I'm going to introduce you her in a second. You can throw in hashtags. You all know how to do this. All right. This is social media. Posting content is going to move the needle for you. It will help you get a job. Guaranteed. Because it's not easy to do and it showcases action, not words. All right. You can't just fake it. You got to actually think about what you want to post, think about what you want to say, put yourself out there. So when you do this, it will make a huge difference. It just makes a huge difference. All right. And you can post about just about anything you want to post that you think is, again, career related. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, one other thing I want to tell you is if you're writing copy, so let's say you want to write about an internship that you've got or a lesson learned. I know this sounds crazy, but just take a selfie. All right. If you add a selfie, you get 5 times more views. If you actually do a video instead, you get like 20 times more views. So let me show you what I'm talking about. This is Evelyn. And let me just give you kind of a couple of examples of content like that you can post and what I'm talking about. Okay. So this is something she posted. I met Evelyn when she was a freshman in school. And her goal was to work for actually my company. She wanted to work for LinkedIn. And so all the time she was in school, she was posting regularly. And I told her this. I'm like, look, you can't, posting content doesn't guarantee you're going to get a job at LinkedIn, but it certainly does help, right? So she posted about this internship she got with Hewlett Packard Enterprises. And this is a very perfect, simple post. She just talks about how much she enjoyed working there for the internship. Here, she tags the company. Here, she throws in a hashtag. Here, she tags her colleagues. Here, she throws in some more hashtags. She takes a selfie, and she got almost 200 reactions and almost 20,000 views. Any one of you can do this. Any one of you can post content. It's not hard to do. And almost all of you are on social media, some other form of social media like TikTok or IG. Those social media platforms are not designed to help you get a job. They're fun and they're a lot more fun than LinkedIn, but they're not designed to help you get a job. LinkedIn is designed to help you get where you want to go in your career, period. That's what it's about. So when you put this all together, it makes a more compelling picture and it allows you, again, to take more control of your destiny. So I'll give you another example. I give you a success story here. So this is Ariana. And I met her, not that Ariana Garcia, this Ariana Garcia. I met her when she was at San Diego State. And now her profile has changed a little bit because she's now graduated. She's been out of school for a little while, but she's a first-gen Latina. She talked about that journey in her profile. She posted content on LinkedIn. She posted, articles and articles that she's read. She actually did own mini blog. She just wrote a quick piece on period poverty, which I thought was really powerful. Again, puts a complete picture of herself out there. Now, I want to tell you how all of that effort, how it culminates in a success for her, in a win for her. Okay. So when she was in school, she wanted to get this internship at Super Purposes. So she went to our job board and applied for a job, which is great. Applying for jobs is awesome. You got to apply for jobs, but it's not easy to get a job that way. So she went the next step further. And so she clicked on this icon, which takes you to their company page. Now, again, this is a small company, so they don't have a live tab. They might still be using Recruiter, by the way. A lot of companies use Recruiter, but they don't pay for the live tab because the live tab is extra. All right. So just because they don't have it here doesn't mean they're not using Recruiter. And remember, also, you don't necessarily have to have a Recruiter seat, to look somebody up. So if they get a ton of resumes and they have job posts, they can find 10 or 15 people they like, and they can just search you on LinkedIn and see what you look like. So again, they're going to look at your profile, right? So what happened here is that she went to this people tab and she's like, you know what? I'm going to shoot my shot and I'm going to reach out to the CEO. They only have 150 some odd employees. So she typed in here CEO. It shows that they have 4 associates, but it's looking for these 3 letters. There was only one CEO. It's right here. And so what she did is she clicked on the CEO's profile and she did what I showed you earlier. She clicked on connect and she clicked on add a note, and she added a note. And here's what she said. She said, hi, my name is Ariana. I'm a current student. I just applied for your internship and I would love an opportunity to interview. Thank you. That was it. That's all she did. Now, I'm going to ask you all a non-rhetorical question. I want somebody to drop in the chat. What is the first thing that you do when you're on other social media and your private mode and somebody wants to follow you on other social media? What do you do before you let them follow you normally? So anybody want to drop it in the chat? You view their profile. A lot of people say, you stalk them. You check them out to see who they are. You look at their profile. You want to make sure they're real people. That's the first thing everybody does. So that's the first thing that the CEO did, is looked at Ariana's profile. Do you think she saw Ariana's resume profile, or do you think she saw her authentic profile? It's obvious, right? Ariana's profile is about her journey, or it was. And she has content posted on there. She talks about being first-gen Latina, working her way through college. That's impressive, people. If you don't tell people, how the hell are they going to know? They're not. So what happened? The CEO looked at her profile and then also took the fact that Ariana messaged her. She, A, accepted her connection request, and then B, the CEO reached back out to her within 3 hours of the connection request. Within 3 hours. And she messaged Ariana back and she said, no student has ever done that before. Be ready for an interview on Monday. She got the interview on Monday. The hiring manager gave her the job on the spot, the internship on the spot. That does not happen without LinkedIn. It doesn't happen without her taking advantage of LinkedIn. That's it. Any questions about that? Any questions at all? Okay. Last thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about LinkedIn Learning. All right. So we are continuing to roll on with LinkedIn Learning for everybody. We should be signing an extension here pretty soon, but I want to show you what LinkedIn Learning is all about. Okay. LinkedIn Learning, online video tutorials. Again, they're designed to help you get a job. There are a couple of things that you need to know here. First, we have this brand new feature. It's called My Career Journey. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to set a career goal. And you can say, look, I want to transition into a new career. Now, I want to take a step backwards. When you first log into LinkedIn Learning, it's going to ask you, do you want to connect your personal LinkedIn profile? You don't have to, but I highly recommend that you do. When you connect your LinkedIn profile, we now have that data so we can help you get a job. The whole point of LinkedIn.com and LinkedIn Learning is helping you make more money by getting that job you want, being more prepared for that job, being more prepared for that interview. That's what LinkedIn and LinkedIn Learning is about. So if you tell us you want to transition to a new career, you can say, I want to do a software engineer. I want to be in sales development. Sales, business development, right? Well, you can tell us all this stuff. We'll tell you what skills you need and what skills you can follow. And then here, this is not going to be relevant to you all because you're not looking for a job at East Riverside, but we have this new feature. So then it creates a learning plan, and it's going to start pushing out content specifically to me. By the way, of course, you know this, but I'm just going to tell you just in case. We have an app for this. It's free. So you can download the app. You can use it on your mobile device. We have kind of TikTok formatted content for the app. It's awesome. All right. So we have a learning path here. We have this new thing called an AI coach. AI coaches basically, think of this as ChatGPT that's been trained on LinkedIn Learning and trained on how to help you get content on LinkedIn Learning and get where you want to go in your career. It's basically a career coach. And you type in whatever you want here, where you want to go, what you want to do, any questions you have, what kind of courses do I need to take so I can become a marketing student, or I'm about to have a marketing interview. What should I do? You can just start playing around with this. It's not perfect, but it's getting there. Now, if we go to our content is broken up into 3 areas. One of them is our business curriculum. We have our technology curriculum, and we have our creative curriculum. Our business curriculum, think of anything that is designed, any job, any office job that you have, you're going to have, you need a lot of these skills, whether it's equity, inclusion, HR, leadership, management, marketing, office software, you name it. Okay. It's in here. If you want technology content are going to be more for your IT folks, more for like, if anybody on the call wants to be a software developer or software engineer, we have a ton of content on here. And then our creative are for people that are interested in maybe art, design, graphic design, video editing, you name it. Ton of content there. For each one of these, you'll notice that we have role guides in here. So we have these role guides that are really dive deep into everything you need to get that job. So if you want to be a social media manager, here's a ton of content on how to become a social media manager. Now, y'all know what I'm going to say next, which is if you take this content, it will help you get a job. Fact. All right. Fact. I had a student at San Jose State who was applying for an internship at Cisco. The internship required Power BI. She wasn't taught that in school. She learned Power BI on LinkedIn Learning before she went to the interview. During the interview, they asked her, do you know how to do Power BI? And she's like, yes, I do. I took a LinkedIn Learning course. I'm proficient. Got the job. She was the only student that took additional course. And another student who was applying for a job at Microsoft, they saw that she took a Microsoft Shadow IT course, and they were actually scrolling through her LinkedIn profile while they were talking to her in her interview, saw that course, pivoted the conversation. She got a job a week later. It's not a coincidence, all right? It's not a guarantee that LinkedIn Learn is going to help you get a job, but it's guaranteed it's going to give you more of an advantage. There's just no question about it. We now have data to back that up. So we've rolled out LinkedIn Learning for the past 7 years. And we know quantifiably that students who use LinkedIn Learning get jobs more quickly, on average, 10% more quickly than students who don't use LinkedIn Learning. On average, they have literally 5 times more first degree connections, and they apply for 5 times more jobs. So it's not even a question now. LinkedIn Learning is designed to help you differentiate yourself and help you get that skill you need to get the job you want. And it's free now. You'll have access to it for free. So again, when you log in for the first time, it will ask you, do you want to connect your LinkedIn profile? I recommend that you do. And then when you do, this recruiter won't be here. This learning icon will be right up here. So you can literally log into LinkedIn Learning directly from LinkedIn. And when you're scrolling through LinkedIn, we're going to actually put some LinkedIn Learning courses in front of you that we think are going to help you get a job. All right. That is it, y'all. Does anybody have any questions for me before I wrap up? Any questions at all? Questions about using Clear. What exactly is that? Profile verification using Clear. I'm not, Luca, you stumped me. I've never heard of that. We are trying to do more profile verifications, but I didn't know that we were using Clear. So I'll have to do some research on that, man. Juan, will this video be posted online? I'm going to send this recording to you, Elizabeth. So if you can decide if you want where you want to post that for people. Oh, yeah. Patricia, thanks for pointing that out. Let me just drop my name in the chat here. You all are more than welcome to connect with me. I'm happy to connect with any one of you. So just drop. And don't feel like you need to send me a message either. As long as you're a student, I will connect with you, okay? That's it. Elizabeth, anything you want to add? Or I don't know, Dr. Lee, if you want to add anything as well, I want to just make sure that if you want to chime in, you're more than welcome to.
No, this is wonderful. I learned so much, and we appreciate the time you carved out to share this with UC Riverside students. And I'll get it posted on YouTube so that other students on campus can benefit. So thank you so much, Ryan, and to all of our students.
My pleasure. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a great day.
Bye.